me if y'all send it.
Okay, so these are the apartments over here at the Pines. I think it was last month that they forced everybody out, early last month. So what the issue was, from my understanding, is that this is what the landlords say. The landlords say that because of COVID, the government told them not to collect utility payments from their tenants. And apparently, this is what they say, they just accrued so much debt over these utilities, and their argument is, just because we're landlords doesn't make us rich. I would argue that if you're gonna have this many tenants, you should have probably a contingency plan. But I'll be fair, they say that the government expected them to cover utilities for these tenants, and they just couldn't do it anymore. And so recently they had to shut off the utilities, and that's not just at this complex, that's at some other ones across Shreveport. So what that did was, once they shut off the water and electricity, city had to declare a state of emergency because, of course, you can't really live in those conditions. The problem is, and this is an example of why sometimes government is not this big boogeyman. The problem is, without a government solution, these folks essentially were just evicted. They weren't given long-term, stable housing. Some of them apparently have been housed in public facilities like gymnasiums and things like that. I mean, it's like Katrina, except a hurricane did not hit. This is all man-made. This is all this is all economics. This is not a Cat 5 hurricane that came through here. This is a result of failed leadership on the part of the landlords, failed leadership on the part of the government for not having a solution, and just sort of systemic failed leadership in that something like this could even happen. And so now this entire apartment complex, which does look like, it's in fairly good condition in terms of the bones. I mean, I know what some of these images have looked like. I think some of this is a result of once the evictions happened. I think there was a little bit of looting and whatnot that happened. I know they had police stationed here for a while for the month of July. But these are otherwise perfectly good apartments, and they are now empty. And they're empty, but the people that were in them didn't just disappear. And as we talk about the housing crisis in this state and we talk about homelessness, I understand how uncomfortable it is sometimes to acknowledge the issue, to be confronted with the issue, but it doesn't make the issue go away to ignore it. These are real people. These were real families that were in here. These folks are all scattered across the city, scattered across the state. And when you don't have strong leadership, when you don't have a representative that believes that you are just as valuable as, quite frankly, white folks in a better part of town, things like this don't happen. And when they do happen, they are addressed with the urgency of what you give to people that you value. When we talk about Black Lives Matter, it's not just limited to police officers shooting black folks. It's about how our government treats people. It's about how people treat people. If you don't believe that Black Lives Matter, then you think that, all right, it's kind of okay to evict all of these people that were in this apartment and just hope for the best. When lives matter, when you think that somebody's life matters just as much as yours, you understand the crisis that these people are in. I can only imagine what it's like for the parents who this is happening this happened right before school started. This school year is going to be very tough for these kids. It's going to be very tough for those parents. It's going to be very tough for those families. If all lives matter, like some people like to say, then why does this continue to happen disproportionately in our part of town, in our parts of the state, in our communities across the country? So that's the reason why I'm here. I'm here because somebody needs to be here to make a point that we matter, and that our representatives need to know that we matter. Stop getting used to disappointing us and start delivering.